Hey guys, this is Dylan from Two Guys in a Warehouse. Stay tuned at the end for a very special message. Now enjoy the podcast.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Two Guys in a Warehouse with your host, Dylan from TGW Podcast on Instagram and my
Alex
co-host
from Professor Otaku.
Way to cut me off there, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in and cut you off really quick.
Oh wow. Okay.
I know
I
I'm
guess
the
you need
guest.
no,
Listen,
you need no
I don't-
introduction.
Okay, first of all, I know I'm the guest. I don't want to overstep, but just for today only, we gotta call it Three Guys in a Warehouse.
Okay.
Okay, that's
All right.
So-
That's fair enough. All right.
Okay,
I'm going to restart the intro with Three Guys in a Warehouse then.
we could just keep. Okay, yeah. Give her
Just to throw people off. I think it'd be
Yeah.
funny. They'd be like,
whatever,
"What?"
man. Whatever floats your boat, dude.
Everything.
Hype it up.
All right. Hello and welcome to Three Guys in a Warehouse with your host, Dylan,
And Alex.
and our special host today, known as Otaku Sphere, and Tyler. Tyler, how you doing?
Fucking fantastic, man. How are you?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Doing great. It's been a great day.
At snowy winter eve.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did say you were getting snow up there. You had about 10 centimeters?
Yeah, 10 centimeters, 4 inches, whatever system you want to use.
But that's just the norm in Canada, right? Just snow for what, like 6 months?
Yeah, man. Actually, before I moved out here, you guys have snow days ever? Like when you're in high school?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
So I had a shit ton when I was in high school, and now I get them in university, which is kind of like unheard of. But as soon as they get a bunch of snow, they just shut down university for the entire day, which is kind of nice. And I can go home and binge anime without feeling too bad.
What do you guys consider a bunch of snow? Like we consider 1 inch a bunch.
Oh, yeah. Everybody goes crazy down
Yeah.
here.
Like everybody thinks it's the apocalypse, snowpocalypse.
They buy
Yeah. Bread, milk.
water.
Yeah. Stocking up for the end of the world.
Pretty much.
For us, it would be like if you're looking at the weather app and it's predicting 5 to 6 centimeters, then it's like, oh shit, like we're gonna have to clean off our cars tomorrow. And then nobody wants to do that, but
Oh, yeah. No.
yeah, but that would
Have to
be
shovel yourself out.
that's pretty much the average.
Oh, okay, that's not too
Yeah.
bad then. It's not like 60 centimeter
Yeah.
storms.
Well, I mean, here they've already salted the roads, too.
Oh yeah, we're getting 1 inch and the roads are salted. Plows are out. They're ready to dig people out if they have to.
Man, I hate salt. Just
Oh, yeah,
ruins your
just-
vehicles. Like the lifespan of vehicles out here, it's not very good. Just because
So
of the salt and everything. Anyway,
tip for anyone wanting to purchase a vehicle in Canada, don't.
don't get a truck, lift it. People are probably gonna think you're lifting it to compensate for something small, but you gotta do what you gotta do if you want it to live.
And that is, in fact, small penis.
Yeah, that's a small penis. I didn't know if it was gonna be an uncensored episode or not, but you guys swear, right?
Yeah, normally. If we have to, we'll bleep anything out.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
You get one
be-
bleep.
you get one bleep.
I'll try and take it back a bit and be a little conservative.
No, you're all right.
No, yeah.
I'll give you my bleep, so you have to.
Okay, fair enough. I need all the bleeps I can get, so
Yeah.
I can't give you mine. Tyler, we had like just a couple questions we were gonna ask you. First off, where did you get the name like Otaku Sphere? Like I get the otaku part, but sphere, is it just like all encompassing?
Pretty much. So funny story. I'm kind of ashamed of it, to be honest, but Alex knows. I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
started
I know.
talking before I switched my account around. But when I first joined the Instagram anime community, I was a facts page. Like I never posted reviews. I never posted like any opinion-based writing or anything. I would just post like random facts. And at first it was specifically on the topic of Darling in the Franxx. Basically, yeah, when I started the account, it was during the first core when the show was airing, and it was trending a lot. And like I think a lot of people they held it in pretty high regards, and I was on board with it, and I was a big fan of it because I've always been a Trigger fan. So I was pretty hyped up about it, and I've always wanted to get into the Instagram anime community. Like I followed pages before. I've never just taken the initiative to make one of my own, and I said like, well, I don't really have much to contribute. Like I'm not necessarily a good writer or anything, so I can just throw facts out there. I can do my research and put in little tidbits of information. So I had a page anyway called Frank's Facts, and then Darling in the Franxx, of course, went downhill. It became kind of a meme by the time it finished. And then I kind of broadened my page and talked about everything Studio Trigger and Gainax and stuff like that. Like I talked about Gurren Lagann, pretty much everything produced by Studio Trigger and Gainax. And then eventually I think I just ran out of ideas and like I started having to dive into the fucking deep webs of the internet to look for facts to post, and like nothing new was coming out from the studio because they only produce like one project every couple years. And I just said, screw it, I'm gonna start doing like everything anime. And then as soon as I started talking to people online, and they said like you have a really good like visual style to your account, but it would be cool if you started writing more like opinion based stuff and doing reviews and stuff. And that's when I kind of like on a whim, I was just like that night I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch my account completely around and kind of open it up. And my first review was actually a Fooly Cooly, which is still within like the Gainax realm. And then I started talking about like everything. Like as I was watching seasonal anime, I would talk about random stuff. But I couldn't think of a name for the thing, so I knew I wanted otaku. And I guess when I thought of sphere, I just wanted to keep it short and simple. I didn't want a complicated name, and I didn't really have like, for lack of a better word, like an alter ego. Like I didn't have like a name like we have like in the community. There's Icarus Anime and stuff like that, and they have kind of like these alter egos that they use online. And I couldn't think of a name like that. Like I genuinely had no idea what I was going to use. So I thought sphere kind of encompassed like the word stratosphere, and it was like all encompassing. And since I was talking about everything anime, and now that I look back on it, it is kind of a stupid name, and I hate using that as a username. And when people shout me out, I'm like, oh, it looks so stupid and everything. But I think it would just be kind of weird to like change my identity at this point.
Honestly, I like it. I
Yeah,
like the name.
I think
of
it makes sense because since you like kind of do more, outside of like Trigger and stuff, and you're not just a fan like fandom account. Now you're doing like, I mean, I see like you always talk about like different shonen series, mech series. So like now I feel like your account is definitely more balanced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And that was the goal with it. I just honestly, I wish I put more thought into the name if I knew I was going to be like this kind of long term with it. And I like, because it's not really, it doesn't sound like a name. It sounds like more of like a brand. So like when I think of myself as like, because now that I'm doing more opinion based writing and stuff like that, and reviews and not just facts, like I don't think of my page as like a brand. I think of it more as like my own identity. So when people refer to me, like they kind of not hyphenate it, but they kind of shorten it to just calling me Sphere. They're like, yo, Sphere in my DMs and stuff. And I'm like, that's such a shit name.
No, I can relate to that because a lot of people used to call me Prof before they knew my name was Alex. Yo, Prof.
That's not too bad though. Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like Prophet, the Prophet of anime.
No, just like short. Oh, geez.
Yeah, well, I get where you're coming from now that it's become your identity. Where like Sphere was really good because you didn't just do reviews of shows, you reviewed genres and you reviewed styles of animation. So that made sense. But now that you're, like you said, getting into the opinion based posts, I'm sure it is harder, especially since it's not something that you don't like that shorthand, the sphere.
No, it sounds weird. Like I got so fed up with it at one point because again, like everybody, when they're replying to my stories or whatever, when they're asking my opinion, or like people slide into my DMs sometimes and they ask me to review a certain show, they refer to me as Sphere. They're like, hey, Sphere, I love your page, blah, blah, blah. Like, you should hop on board and watch this show and post your opinions about it. I'm like, cool, I don't mind doing that, but don't call me Sphere.
Yeah.
So, like, not to be rude or anything, it sounds silly to me because, again, it's like not really an identity. It's more of a brand in itself, and I'd like to be more of, I don't know, I'd like it to be more personable, I guess. So I do wish I would have gone back and put some thought into it. Like at one point it was happening so often that I went into my what do you call it, like your bio, I guess your bio, and I put my name is Ty, not Sphere.
So basically what you're saying is if anybody calls you Sphere, they're getting blocked.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to 100% like mob and just go ape shit on them.
Yeah, there you go. 100%. So you kind of covered it, like your inspiration into starting an anime account was Darling in the Franxx, because it interested you and you wanted to show your appreciation like for that show and the studio. Do you have like any advice for anyone trying to start an Instagram review account, or like what kind of time and effort does it take to do what you do? Because you do really well detailed posts. I like yours because sometimes there's slides and they're just multiple paragraphs, and not everyone has time to sit there and read all the paragraphs. But you're very concise in your posts.
Yeah, I try to be usually, like especially if I'm doing a list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
And
Mm,
oh no, I mean just like looking, yeah, just looking at your account, Tyler. I mean, it like the colors really pop.
mhm.
I mean, I think you've already told me kind of like what you wanted your account to be. You want it to be kind of like a magazine, is what you were telling me before.
yeah, exactly.
Well, what magazine was that for the what
So
like a
like growing up, I had like as I was getting into anime and my like I grew up with a single mom and she like we were pretty close, so she obviously knew what my hobbies were right from the start. Like it was never like really like a closet hobby. So I think as soon as I turned like 10 years old, it's around the time that she bought me as a Christmas gift a subscription to monthly Shonen Jump magazine, which was published by Viz in North America. So like instead of having weekly Shonen Jump like you have in Japan, like they have a new issue every week on the newsstands. But when you subscribe to it in North America, it's published by Viz and they send you a copy in the mail every month, and it has like the samples of a couple chapters of every serialized manga at that point in time. So you'd get a couple chapters of One Piece, a couple chapters of Naruto at the time, the original Yu-Gi-Oh. That I think that was what was in it at the time. But then there was also like a shit ton of ads. So like whenever video games were coming out, they would promote them and write like reviews on them and stuff. They would have staff reviews, staff recommendations in the back of the magazine. They would post like fan art and stuff, and I was always just so blown away by like the amount of effort that they put into it, and it looked so visually appealing. And like I love reading manga and stuff, but if I wanted to read the manga, I don't think I would get a subscription like that and tune into it monthly. I think I would just go buy like the tankobon volumes, like the complete compiled volumes from the bookstore. But it was a lot of fun just to flip through the magazine every month. Like that was probably one of the most exciting things to come home to from school. Like you'd see a new issue of it sitting on the counter because my mom would go to the mail. And yeah, again, it was a lot of fun. And then eventually, when I started working like part time in high school, I would take it upon myself to go to the bookstore and buy Otaku USA magazine, which was another one. I don't know who that's published by, but that's another really good anime magazine for those who are interested. And I just always thought that it would be like a cool job to be like a graphic designer and stuff like that. Like now I'm in the sciences, like I go to school for nutrition, but it's always been kind of like a side hobby. So I think when I started the account, like I would read anime reviews and stuff online and talk to so many people within the community, and they would have really great posts in their slideshows. They would just put like screen caps, I guess, or screenshots from the anime itself, and then they would write reviews and break it down by like art, animation and stuff, and write the reviews. And like everybody was just doing the same thing, and there were a few accounts that I had my eye on that did it really well and they had really good writing. And I just thought like this is great for like a blog format per se, but like Instagram is a very visual platform. So I thought like after I was done posting facts, if I was gonna do the same thing and do reviews, like I needed to do something different. And Instagram finally came out with like the slideshow format. So when I got back into it, that's when Instagram first introduced the slideshow format where you could post multiple pictures within one post, because before it was just one at a time. And I thought I was just going to take advantage of that. And I thought it would be perfect for like a magazine format because you're scrolling through it like almost like flipping through pages like you would in a magazine. And then I think I just kind of wanted to emulate my style based on like what I grew up reading, like the Shonen Jump magazine or Otaku USA magazine, where everything's so like vivid and pops and like there's so many great reviews, but like it just looks so attractive to look at. Like right now on my desk, I just have a huge stack of all my Otaku USA magazines that I bought from the time that I was like 15 until now. Like I buy a new one every month.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that's kind of what I use for my like visual inspiration. Like I think I do have kind of my own aesthetic. Like it doesn't necessarily look like a magazine or anything I've seen before, but I think that just comes from like playing around on Photoshop and doing fun things and watching YouTube tutorials on graphic design and trying to see what I can do with it and learn new things. But the inspiration behind like the aesthetic of my page, I guess, like the format of it and how I use the slideshow and everything, that definitely comes from growing up reading stuff like Shonen Jump.
And I mean, I would say that you're probably like a pioneer on Instagram because you were kind of the first one to really take advantage of the slideshow format. I know there's like a lot of other accounts that do it, but like just the way you do it, it's concise. It pops. You don't really like put a lot of text. It's more of like kind of bullet points. So you just kind of hit everything you want to hit. Just kind of like a light read, but I like it only takes maybe 2 minutes to get through your post, but it's like I feel like I learned so much, especially with like when you're talking about like Hideyoki Sawano or Hideaki Anno, any of like the Gainax stuff, especially because you know a lot about Gainax and Trigger.
Yeah, I think that's something I appreciate a lot that people always told me. Is that like I guess like at one point in time is when everybody kind of jumped on board and started doing the thing that I was doing. And I don't think anybody was necessarily copying me per se. Like I think it's just the fact that Instagram did come out with a new format where you could post multiple slides within a post, and people kind of caught on to the same idea that I did and took advantage of it. And I think it's great, and I think it's awesome because it makes for like higher quality posts across the board, and it's an easier read, and you're not just flipping through a slideshow of random pictures and then reading like a massive caption at the bottom for a review. You actually have like, because anime is a visual medium, like we watch anime because we love the art style and everything like that. So it's cool to have like a nice visual representation while you're reading it rather than just looking at a block of text, because I don't think that's what people are on Instagram for necessarily. Like it is a photo sharing platform, so it's nice to have, again, like especially when you're talking about a very visually appealing thing like anime, it's nice to have nice visual representation when you're reading posts. But and then another thing, like I don't think I'm necessarily that great at it yet, because there are times where my stuff gets a little bit wordy and I have trouble breaking it up, and it's very limiting because you do only have 10 slides per post. But one of my pet peeves, and one of my teachers' pet peeves growing up when I was in high school, was like when we were making PowerPoint presentations and stuff, they said like you should only have a couple bullet points and you should be able to talk about the rest, and the rest should be pictures, because when you're doing a PowerPoint presentation and talking about something to somebody, they don't want to read like these big wordy things. They just want to listen to what you have to say. So I kind of took that into perspective, and obviously Instagram is an audio format, so I don't have like a vocal representation when people are reading my stuff. So like what they see is what they get kind of thing. But at the same time, it doesn't look visually appealing when you have a slideshow just like of like a paragraph. Like I kind of took it upon myself to try and learn how to break up what I was writing. Like when I go through a rough draft, I have a Google Doc open and I write so much, and then I just kind of highlight the key points that I want to talk about and I throw that in the slide. And then of course, like it is very limiting, like you can only talk about so much at one time. So people do have a lot of questions by the time they get through my posts, and that's where a lot of my DMs come from. Like people will say like, hey, did you notice this about the show? Like you didn't really talk about it. I'm like, man, I would have fit it in if I could, but
yeah, well, no. I think one of the things though that people can really notice is the obvious dedication to your posts because of the amount of detail you put into the slides themselves. Maybe not necessarily all text, but visually. And you'll even post about it on your stories, trying to figure out what people prefer too. I mean, you just did it recently with the anime awards. So it shows that you're really dedicated, which I think a lot of people can feel that energy when they read through your posts. And I know I do, and that makes me like, yours really always just stand out to me because everything just pops right off the screen. So, and going into it, it's an easy read, and like Alex said, you learn a good bit from your posts, which I believe that everybody else who reads your posts feels the same way.
Hopefully that's the goal.
Well, you got up to 2,000 followers recently, so obviously man. You're doing something right.
Yeah,
like it's slow. Feel? It's slow moving, but yeah, it is good. It's bittersweet because it took so long, because I've been doing it for almost 2 years now, and like the first 1,000 took forever. Like as soon as I hit 1,000, like that was a massive milestone, and then 2,000 took about half the time that the first 1,000 took. And then I'm hopefully like, I think it's going to snowball, because as you get more followers, then you're going to get more interaction on your posts, and they're going to be trending more and stuff like that. So like as you get more, you're going to be faster moving. But that first 1,000, man, that was a grind.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I know. I've been like,
I'm in that grind right now.
I mean, I've been on Instagram for like 7 years, and I mean, it wasn't until like my 3rd or 4th year where my account like really blew up, and that's how I got like I was stuck at I think like 5,000 for the longest time. But yeah, getting to that.
And then there's people like, I don't understand. Like Icarus Anime was talking about how he has like 8.5K, I think, and I think he's only been on Instagram for like less than 2 years. And I'm like, man, he must have like blew up from the start.
Yeah, it depends on what you post. I mean, the one post that really blew me up was I did like a list. This was when I was like really doing lists. I did like top 20 anime movies, and Your Name was number 1, and that's when Your Name had just come out. And it was like, I just rode that wave all the way up to 30K.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you talk about trending stuff.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you gotta, sell your soul to get those followers.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised when I posted the Bunny Girl Senpai, my first Bunny Girl Senpai post, like way back, one of my first ones, that I only had like maybe 70 followers, and I got over 250 likes on it.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a pretty good ratio.
Oh, yeah, that's more likes than I'd gotten on all my pictures on my personal Instagram account ever. So it was surprised, because it's new to me, and I'm still new to the whole social media aspect in general, because I had my personal account, but I never really did anything with it. So it's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a challenge.
It is, and it's ever changing too. Like as soon as you get a handle on it, then they come out with new algorithms and new features and stuff that you got to learn and take advantage of. And it does take a lot of dedication and learning, but I think once you get the basics and then you can hop on board with it every time they make an update and take advantage of that, as long as you take advantage of it soon enough that it doesn't become too overcrowded in that space. I think like one example is when they came out with the story feature. Like that came out I think before I made an Instagram anime account, but you guys follow Gary Vee obviously, and one thing that he always talked about when that story feature came out is that not enough people use it because people were like, well, I don't see the point in this. Like it's just like a temporary thing that you're posting. Like Snapchat already has it, and like if I want to post, I might as well just make a post. But like people don't realize the value in taking advantage of new features like that not a lot of people are using because they don't necessarily know how to use it when they first come out with an update. Now everybody's using it correctly. Like they're using it to advertise for their posts or say like, here's a post that I'm working for to try and hype up their followers before it comes out, and then it gets people more engaged and stuff like that. So I think as long as you get like the bread and butter down and get good at it, it's just a matter of taking advantage of the updates as soon as they come out before they get overcrowded, because now everybody's posting like 20 Instagram stories a day. But like as soon as the story feature came out, everybody would post like one or two. Not a lot of people were using it. So the people who did take advantage of it correctly were seeing the majority of the benefits.
I read somewhere that the best thing to do is post two actual posts a week, and then you should be doing at least 5 stories a day. And that's how you're supposed to. That's what the article said is the best way to get the best interactions with your followers. Okay. So I've been trying to stick to at least 3 stories a day and do at least 1 post a week. But I wonder what the next step is with the Instagram TV.
Yeah, when that first came out, the way they were advertising it, the way a lot of people were talking about it, like I genuinely thought it was going to like overtake YouTube, just because Instagram has such a big user platform already, and there's more people on Instagram than like, not, I don't think quite as many as Facebook, but Facebook owns Instagram. And like relative to like, well, there's new social media coming out all the time, like TikTok is big right now and everything, but as soon as that IGTV feature came out, like I was like, man, that's genius, because people are already on Instagram all the time. So instead of having to even like, people are lazy, so they don't even want to like open up another app to go to YouTube to watch a video. Like if everybody just converted to IGTV and took advantage of the fact that everybody's already on Instagram for hours a day scrolling, and they could just get it at the top of a button instead of closing an app, opening an app, going back and forth. Like I genuinely thought it was going to overtake YouTube, but it hasn't really caught on yet.
I think there's definitely going to be a future for it. I think Instagram will be the future and is going to take over most platforms until somebody comes up with something better. And right now, there's nothing that I can see that's as user friendly as Instagram is, because I think that's the biggest thing.
What I'd love to see on it is actually like back in the day watching old school AMVs on YouTube. Like I would consume a shit ton of those. Like put that on the background when I'm doing homework and stuff. It'd be cool if people got back into that. Like if the anime community took advantage of IGTV, because you could post longer form videos, and there's so many like really good free video editing apps that you can do right on your phone, so you don't have to export it from a computer or anything. And if they started posting on that would be dope, I think.
You could have the answer right there.
Somebody hop on board, I'll watch them.
Hey, me too. I'd be interested in that. I remember like watching all the MVs. I mean, that was like something people would do as a kid. I wasn't good enough to put the video with the music, but I would do like the slideshow, the picture slides with the lyrics and everything. So, but yeah, no, that definitely would be interesting to see if people could get back into the MVs, because well, we go to I don't know if you've ever been to a convention, Tyler, or if you know a lot about conventions and all that kind of stuff. But like the one we go to, Katsucon, they actually have AMV competitions there. So that's people will enter their AMV and they judge them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's still pretty popular. I just don't think it's what it used to be.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know if you guys ever saw the anime. I think it's Anime Graphy AMVs, something like that. Where you haven't? Well, it was basically, this guy would pick like all the shows basically that aired in a year and mash it up into one AMV. And I feel like those are like some of the best AMVs I've ever seen. And I think just nobody can kind of replicate that quality, because I mean, he only lasted for maybe 4 years. I think he only did 4.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
he'd do it yearly, and then somebody else is doing it, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the hard work, but it definitely just doesn't have that same flow and style that the other dude used to have.
Yeah. Some people just have that talent
Yeah.
to.
Because
put that
before, I
together.
mean, before it was just like Naruto AMV of like Naruto versus Sasuke with like
Yeah.
Headstrong by Trap It.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
SAO,
Last
like-
Resort by Papa Roach. That was a
Yeah,
good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's back when YouTube had the star rating and not just likes and dislikes.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. That's
Man, we're old.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely feel it in my back,
feel it in the loins.
the loins.
My kidneys just from sitting here.
Did you say your kidneys?
Yeah, man, my kidneys just from sitting here. That was a joke. We can edit that out.
No, we got to leave it.
We got really worried. That's why.
Yeah. We're about. Do you guys have 911 up there?
Yeah.
What is it?
Do
411.
we have 911? Yeah, so we have 911.
I don't know if it's 911 in every country though.
That's who you call for pizza, right?
Yeah, that's for Pizza
That's
Hut.
what we do in Canada.
Emergency Pizza Hut delivery.
Comes on snowmobile.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
So what do you think is the future of your podcast, Tyler, Major League Anime? Because I started listening to it when we first started doing our podcast. Actually, that's the first podcast other than Podtaku that Alex showed me because you were relevant. So well, Podtaku had already ended, and Tyler was still putting stuff out.
That's
this was
true.
like right before you went back to school, I believe. So he was showing me some of your stuff. Do you plan on getting back? I know you've been trying to. I know your schedule is very busy.
It is busy, so I've been thinking about switching up the format. So I like the idea of you guys doing like the seasonal thing, like you guys are moving into season 2. This episode's going to be part of season 2, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you're coming in season 6.
Yeah, we'll see it in 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like the idea of the seasonal. So I think what I'm planning on doing, because I tried to keep up with doing one episode a week and it worked out for a while, and there were a couple off weeks where I wouldn't have an episode for 2 to 3 weeks just because it was tough to book guests and do recording and stuff because of the time difference. Because a lot of the guests that I had Anime Philosophy and she was from Italy, and I had the Animagus who actually right now only lives about an hour away from me, so we've been meaning to get together and go watch. We're gonna watch Premiere together, but then it didn't work out with my school schedule, which kind of sucks. But anyway, the time differences made it pretty tough. So I had a bunch of off weeks, and I found it like without having another guest on my podcast, since it was pretty much solo, I found it kind of hard to stay on track. So I think what I'm gonna do moving forward, I've been talking to a few people that I want to have on, and I definitely want to have you guys on and record an episode with you guys. But I'm gonna break it up into series. So I think what I'll do is over the course of the year or for the next 6 months, I'll record whenever it's convenient to me, edit them, and then I'll do kind of like a Netflix drop format where I'll just drop an entire season at once. So it'll be like 10 episodes, and I'll drop that and then go amongst recording for the next season and drop it all at once. So there'll probably be like between 6 months to a year between seasons, but at least I have time to edit, and there's no like stress of keeping on track every week, and I can take my time and make it the highest quality possible and stuff like that. So that's what right now I'm just in the planning phase of figuring out who I want to have on, topics that I want to have. Probably going to only have like between 6 to 10 episodes for the first little bit. So what topics do I want to talk about and stuff like that?
I think that's pretty cool. I think that'll be an interesting format, and it'll be really interesting to see how that works once you do it. Because I feel like a lot of people like that concept where you get it all at once and can binge it, but then at the end it's like, oh, now I gotta wait.
I was actually gonna say, I was like, that's basically like Netflix's approach to licensing anime. You know, they license it, dub it, and then release it all. Oh, usually all at once, or they'll release the first half and then wait like 3 or 4 months and release the second half all dubbed.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
No, I think that's a really cool idea though. I think that was a good way to, like, a good workaround, because with your schedule being so busy, I mean, you got to do what you can, but
yeah,
I think
like,
hopefully that'll be really good.
But hopefully it does work out. Like the only thing I'm kind of iffy about is like, hopefully all my topics are equally interesting, because obviously people are gonna have preferences, but like when you have a weekly show, I think people just get used to your episodes coming out every week, and they look forward to them regardless of the topic, because they kind of get into a routine. But if I drop it all at once, I feel like people are going to be picky and choosy and look at the titles and the descriptions, and like obviously one episode's going to probably get like 3 times as much downloads than then another one, and so I think it'll be, I don't know, it'll probably be a pretty weird format for a podcast, but it's what's probably going to fit my schedule the best and allow me to put out the best quality. So I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, do you think after school, after you finish university, that you would try to make it a weekly podcast?
For sure. Yeah. Like, hopefully I'll be able to have like a dedicated room. Like, I'm curious. I don't know if you guys have ever talked about this, but like, where exactly do you guys record? Like, is it like a literal warehouse?
Oh yeah, no, it's really a warehouse. Actually.
Yeah. So my warehouse has like what you would see as a traditional warehouse, and then another section that's basically like an office area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we record in the office area of it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's sweet.
We don't have any like soundproofing or anything yet.
Although our future goal is to just buy a huge warehouse and then in the middle just make a small studio.
Yeah.
But we'll still keep the big warehouse.
And it'll be just loaded with anime.
We
A
want to get
warehouse
people
full
to
of anime.
sculpt like anime statues, like from like Naruto with what is it, Madara and who's the other statue there? Where Sasuke and Naruto fought.
Oh yeah, like the final.
We want to
battle.
have that
Yeah.
that actual replica in here.
Yeah.
And that'd be
pretty
dope.
sweet. You got to get a video show at that point.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the plan to move this to video, hopefully. But we got to figure
I
out
think
all
it
the
would blow up on
technical-
YouTube for sure.
Yeah, we were thinking almost like a ridiculousness like version of anime version almost.
Of like the Fantasy Factory.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, kind of like Fantasy Factory style.
If you've watched Rob Beardak's Fantasy Factory.
I haven't seen that, but do you guys watch Rooster Teeth at all?
Yes, I've watched a little bit of Rooster Teeth.
I haven't yet.
Like, would it be
Like that
similar to that, where it's like a roundtable discussion and you guys are all just recorded on video?
Probably, yeah. Well, we
that would
wanted
be
to get
some
like
of
a
it.
couch.
Yeah, but we were thinking doing like almost more challenges.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
right.
like
Okay,
doing
that'd be
some
fun.
challenges, or like one we just throw out, like who can do the best Naruto run, and we'll build like an obstacle course.
Mhm. Like a pillar kind of going around, and then just have like foam under. You have to walk across it as fast as you can with your hands, like the Naruto run though.
I would endorse the shit out of that.
Yeah, I think it would be super interesting for even people who aren't into anime, because it'll have that obstacle course or challenge aspect to it.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just discussional format, you guys just do a bunch of random shit, anime related, of course. But
Exactly. So that's in the future, but that's where we're headed. So, and then obviously we'd keep up with the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
So that's what our future is hopefully looking like.
you guys better keep up with it, because that's what's getting me through my studying sessions, man. That's what I put on in the background every time I got to buckle down and study for a few hours.
Well, glad that you feel that way, because that's like what Pataku was for me, and then what your podcast was for me too.
Yeah.
Man, saving lives out here.
Yeah, you literally saved my life.
I have to drive like 160 miles every Thursday, Wednesday, and Saturday for work. So yeah, listening to podcasts is what gets me through, because you can listen to music only so long.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't really have any music to listen to, so then I throw on podcasts, and it's a nice change of pace. So I feel where everyone's coming from, and we really appreciate you listening, and everyone else who's been listening. Like it means a lot, because when we first started, it was really cool. And then when you start getting that feedback, it's a totally different feeling. I'm sure you've gotten it too. So
yeah, it's the best feeling in the world when somebody reaches out to you and tells you like a specific point in the episode that you were talking about and it resonated with them, or even if they agree or disagree and it like evokes like a conversation or something like that. It's just cool. Like it's a cool feeling. It's not like anything else. Like it's not like there's a lot of time I get compliments on my posts, like your posts look visually appealing or anything and stuff like that. But like whenever I release an episode and somebody picks apart like a random chunk of audio and says like, hey, what you said at this point in the episode, like I agree with it or I disagree with it, like it's just cool to know that people are actually listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Like that you're actually putting out content that people want to hear.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing for us too. I mean, I get a lot of people that will message me, like at the end of work when I'm cleaning up, this is what I'm listening to, or homework and stuff like that. So I get a lot of those messages, and that's always so exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I used to get DMs like, fuck you, dude. Your lists suck.
Are you the only one?
Yeah. Why is it Dragon Ball Z here, dude? Kill yourself. Or like one guy's like, oh, this list smells like virgin. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
I get the savage end of it, but I definitely resonate to an extent, I guess.
Because you just don't care. You just put out whatever.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
I feel like you welcome it.
I do welcome it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, actually.
You're like, come at me, bro.
Do you ever put out a list, Alex, just to see what people say? Like, where it's not even like your direct opinion, not even like you want to make a statement or anything, but just like to fuck with people?
Yeah, I did a top 10.
Of
I think it
all
was
time?
a top 10 greatest anime. All I
That was
did was
after. That was right after the drunk cast, wasn't it?
No. Well, this was I think this was before, because I just took like what Mal's like highest rated anime is.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
And all I was just talking about the show. I was like, oh, this is interesting that it's right here. And then I put like number one was I put number two Brotherhood, but I put number one as Minamike as a joke.
Yeah.
And people were like upset about it. I was like, oh my god, dude. I even said like, oh yeah, this isn't my list. It's just me dissecting this list.
Which list was I gonna think? What was I thinking about? I can't remember which list I was thinking about that you put out. That
I remember you put out a top 10 of all time, I think, right after the drunk cast. Number one was your name.
You did the fandom, the worst fandoms.
Oh yeah, I did do the worst fandoms.
You got a lot of hate for those.
Oh yeah.
Yuri.
Tyler, yeah, have you seen Yuri on Ice?
No.
Okay, well I was still on Instagram during that huge blow up for Yuri on Ice. Everybody loved it, and I put top 10 like worst fandom. So I had like JoJo fandom, but I said like I respected the JoJo fandom because like they won't get offended by it. They'll just meme it. They'll just be like, oh, this looks like a JoJo reference. I'm like, god damn. But I came after the Yuri on Ice fandom, and I think that's like my most commented one. I think I had 700 comments.
People just getting aggressive with you.
Oh yeah. It was. I had a couple DMs, well, several DMs. But it was pretty fun. It's fun. It's definitely worth doing. I would.
What do you think is the worst fandom like currently?
Worst fandom currently? I'm trying to think. What's out right now? Oh, My Hero.
Yeah,
I know. I
That's
was just gonna poke in there and say My Hero is pretty bad.
Yeah, they've gotten progressively worse, man. I remember when it was just 15 chapters of the manga, everybody's chill. It's like, oh, this is a pretty fun manga. Now everybody's like, I can't believe her boobs are that big. What the hell? Kill Bones, you deserve to die now, Studio Bones. It's like, Jesus.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
I'm like, God, it's like you're getting like a quality adaptation by one of the best studios out there. You should be happy. And then I said, I made a post like saying that, well, you know what? I hope Studio Bones decides to trade with Period and get Black Clover instead.
Or Studio Dean.
Or Studio Dean or David Productions.
Oh, geez, yeah.
At least the staff that worked on Fire Force.
In all honesty, though, I'm curious because you just said it's like the best adaptation possible, and I know you love Bones, and I'm a big fan of Bones too. Like they're probably easily like before Madhouse went downhill. Like I mean, now that Madhouse has gone downhill, like I think they're probably my second favorite studio. But are you guys up to date on season 4?
I haven't started it yet. I've been meaning to.
How have you been avoiding spoilers online? That's my question.
I get
don't
lucky.
see. Yeah, I
just
know.
get
I don't
lucky.
really see much for My Hero. I see people
Really
talking about it, but I don't really see any spoilers.
Yeah, I've been getting really lucky with like Demon Slayer or My Hero, all these shows. Like nobody really. I mean, I just never see the post. I guess because the way the algorithm is, where it's not by like.
It's
time.
like what you like.
Yeah, that's
pretty
true.
much. Yeah,
and since I don't really care for My Hero as much anymore, I guess they don't put it on my feed as much.
Yeah.
So, but neither of you guys are up to date right now?
No,
not yet.
Yeah, I read up in the manga up until. I mean, it definitely bled into season 4. I think it was a little bit after Deku's training with the protege of All Might, not Lemillion, the other dude, the guy with the glasses that likes people making him laugh.
Oh yeah.
Nighthawk,
Sir
is it?
Night Eye?
Sir Night Eye, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But,
basically.
anyway, it's a pretty good arc so far, but I'm surprised. Like the quality in general of the season, like it's pretty lackluster for Bones. Like I'm a huge Bones fan too, and I wasn't very impressed with it. But like, yeah, the reason I was bringing up how you guys are avoiding spoilers is because I feel like they pulled all their punches all season, and they just like killed it on the most recent episode, and like that's been all over. Like it blew up, I would say, like almost to the extent of Demon Slayer episode 19.
No, I remember people talking about it because one of the key animators, I guess it's the guy that worked on like that. He does I think he's known for the cubicles.
Yeah. Like he does like all the big Sakuga stuff for Bones.
I think he came in and worked on that, like those like last episodes, I guess, or helped.
Yeah.
And I think that's like really why the quality rose as much as it did.
I haven't
was only
seen
one scene at
spoilers.
the end, but
Oh, go
Anyway,
ahead.
sorry. No, I cut you off there.
Oh, I was just gonna say I haven't seen spoilers, but I have seen a lot of comments about how people are saying this is the best season of My Hero.
Yeah.
I have seen that a lot.
I mean, probably. Like
Yeah.
I've been a fan since the start. Like I know a lot of people did not love season 1 and say season 2 was the best, and then season 3 went back downhill. And I think I would tend to agree. But like I would like as season 3 was airing, that was probably one of my favorite airing anime during that time block.
I would agree with that. I did enjoy all the way up to season 3, until the end of season 3,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I kind of then I started picking up and watching more anime and seeing what else was out there. So
Yeah.
I kind of moved away from My Hero,
Mm-hmm.
not because I don't think it's trash or anything.
No, I don't think it's bad
think there
either.
was other stuff that I
Enjoy
would,
more.
yeah, and spend my time better focusing on.
For sure. Like if I were to go back and binge all of My Hero, I don't think I would hold it in as high regard. I think just watching it weekly, like the thing about watching season 3 weekly is that they had a couple of like really banger episodes. Like they had that one with All Might versus All for One, where he does like the United States Smash, and that looked
Oh.
really cool. And then there was the one at the end where Bakugo and Midoriya fight, and like that was done by the same animator that we were just talking about. I forget his name, but Yutaka, I forget his first name though, or whatever his family name is, or whatever. I'm so bad with names, but
Yeah, no,
That
we're bad too.
but that was another like really huge episode, and I think just watching it weekly and getting blown away by those like random episodes that came out of nowhere that looked like visually like stunning. I think it kind of like hyped me up a little bit more and made me hold the series in high regard. But yeah, there's a lot of better shonen out there if you go back, and if you're looking for like a good binge, like narratively at least, like there's so many older shonen that I think have like a better, more cohesive story.
Yeah, I can see that too, and I completely agree because I started watching It Invaded this season, and I started watching the first episode, and I wasn't super into it. It was interesting, but what made me keep watching was the end. They had just a huge cliffhanger, and then I was like, okay, well, let me watch season or episode 2, and then another huge cliffhanger. So I can see what you're talking about with like My Hero. Like there's just like one episode or one part that like just grabs your attention and keeps you interested and keeps you going. So you kind of hold it in a different regard watching it weekly than like you said if you binge, because then you're seeing it all at once and it's not as hype because you don't have to wait for it.
Yeah, and like that. Oh, sorry, I don't know. My fucking chair is really loud. And then I think it's just a safe bet too. Like there's so many, like I don't know how many seasonal anime you guys are watching right now, but I held off and I'm not watching. This is the first season in probably like 3 years that I'm not picking up any new shows this season. I think I'm gonna wait until it gets past at least episode 5 to see what people think about them before I hop in, because I end up getting disappointed by the second half of it. Like I was really into Stars Align last season for the first little bit, and then that went downhill for me. And I think a lot of people are like, that's one example where people are trash talking it, and I think they loved it at the beginning. So like by the time it goes downhill, I think there's a lot to be said about it, and people tend to trash talk it more than they should have. That aside, I think there are a lot of great seasonal shows, and I think there's a lot of fun involved in like having these discussions with people as they're airing and talking about it. And then you have to avoid the manga readers and stuff because they like to spoil stuff and say like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen with this character, but
Yeah. Oh my
stuff
God.
like that. But when it comes to like My Hero, watching it seasonally, like whether or not I get spoiled, like I do know a lot of the plot points that are coming up just from like scrolling on Twitter and stuff like that. But I think it's just like a safe bet. Like whether or not it goes downhill, it's still produced by Studio Bone, so you're gonna get some level of quality there. And then wherever the plot goes, I know that I'm watching a show with a cast of characters that I generally like. Like there's some that I dislike, some that I like more than others, but like I know that when I turn it on that I'm not gonna be super disappointed. Like I might not be blown away every episode, but I think it's just a show that like I'm always gonna end up watching just because there's some level of enjoyment there and I want to find out what happens. And like you are gonna get some episodes like I just talked about where you're gonna be blown away, and that's not gonna happen all the time, and you're gonna get dips in quality here and there. But I've been going back and watching older gems for that reason, because I feel like I can go back and look at the ratings and people's reviews and really pick the good shows that have already aired and just binge them and really enjoy them thoroughly, instead of kind of getting my hopes up for a show like Stars Align, for example, like I just talked about, and have it go downhill. So yeah, I haven't watched any new shows yet.
No, I think because I did the same thing several seasons ago, because just disappointment after disappointment. I can't remember what shows I were watching, but yeah, it's definitely nice where you can go back and watch like some classic that you've kind of been putting on hold for a while,
Yeah.
instead of just taking the risk on this wild card show that may or may not be good, that may or may not get another season. You know, like Stars Align, for example, like didn't they cut it? Apparently it was supposed to be 24 episodes, I heard, but they
Ended up
just
being 12.
and they're not going to give it more episodes, is what I'm hearing.
That's crazy. I wonder if they had like a lot of content already like created and they just kind of trashed it.
Yeah, they had to make like some makeshift ending. I don't remember who it was, if it was Icarus Anime or Animania, because I think they both ended up hating the show, but they both liked it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it at the beginning too.
I did. I mean, I enjoyed it, and then I just kind of didn't anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first 2 episodes, I was like, man, this is like a really, like there's some intense drama happening. Like it's another sports anime, but like the characters seem really endearing. And then by the end of it, it just got to be too much.
You said currently you're watching Land of the Lustrous. I saw in your bio.
I am, yeah. I'm a little bit more than halfway through it.
Okay, so that's right where I would say it takes off. That's where it took off for me, was halfway through.
Yeah, I was
Like
trying
I'm
to
at
show.
the part right now where she just got her new legs, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But
then-
it seems pretty good.
Boss.
And the catalyst for watching that was just watching Beastars, because that's one show that I did follow through and watch right to the end last season, just because I like absolutely adored it. And then right after that, I was like, I got to watch more by Studio Orange, so I went back and watched that.
Studio Orange is like,
Yeah, no,
they've been on point.
I like their
Yeah.
CG. It's been solid for me.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of CG leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but they tend to kill it everything I've seen by them. And I think they only have like 2 like full out TV anime completed, I guess, at this point, but they've done a lot of like commercial work and stuff in Japan, and like everything they put out looks really good.
I think one of the biggest things, especially for Land of the Lustrous, is I feel like CGI actually fits the show perfectly.
Yeah.
Because you can get more of that luster from them being gem people through CGI than I feel like you could get through 2D animation.
I was thinking that too, because like as soon as I watched an episode, I wanted to go back and contrast it to the manga, which I've heard is really good too. Like a lot of people hold the manga in high regard, and like it has charm. Like I do like the art style. It has a rough art style to it, and like the characters all look very reminiscent of how they look in the anime. But there's just something about doing it completely computer generated that you just can't get. Like I was trying to imagine like what studio would be able to do it in a 2D style and make it look appealing, and I don't think there's like just a show like that. I don't think, like maybe Beastars, like if you were to get a really good studio, even if Madhouse did it, even if like David Productions did it, like I think it would still look good in TD or in 2D, because like I don't think there's like a specific pull towards 3D, I guess. Like there's not really anything in Beastars that makes me say like, oh, that should have been 3D, like it's anthropometric animals and stuff like that. But like when it comes to Land of the Lustrous, I was thinking like I don't think there's any studio that would be able to pull it off the way Studio Orange did and do it like in a 2D fashion.
Yeah.
No, I think that like, I agree. I don't think there's another studio that could have replicated that quality and that feeling the show really. I mean, I think it really builds like the atmosphere really well through that animation and the soundtrack. I mean, it was just perfect. I think it was just perfect adaptation.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And even the dub, I think, was really well done. Because I ended up watching it dubbed. Are you watching it subbed or dubbed, Tyler?
I've been flipping back and forth like every episode until I kind of get a feel for it and commit to one of the groups of voice actors. But I do like the dub actually.
Yeah, I think they did a
solid.
good job. Yeah. With the dub. So no, that's one of my favorite shows now, I would say. It's definitely in my probably top 15.
Yeah.
And it's not complete, right? Like, do they leave it? Is there a pretty satisfying ending, would you say? Or do you think they...
not at all.
No. Yeah.
So I'm not going to have any closure.
Yeah,
and the manga's still ongoing.
Yeah, I believe... do you know Ichimono on Instagram?
I don't know.
I think he's a smaller account, but he just posted. He's reading the manga right now. He really likes it. So...
no, I thought the covers for the manga
just...
look really nice too.
I'm really...
they look damn good on a shelf.
Gotta work.
That's why I want Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, because I love those manga covers. The coloring to them.
I don't think I've seen what they look like, actually. I'm really bad at recognizing, like, committing to memory when it comes to, like, manga covers and stuff like that. Like, there's some that look really distinct, like, obviously, the new JoJo hardcovers and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's pretty much all that comes to mind.
Is it easy for you to get a hold of manga in Canada?
It is not where I'm living right now, but we have, I don't know if you guys have Indigo in the States.
No.
So it's a book chain, pretty much like Barnes and Nobles. Like they have like a few different sub companies. Like where I'm from, we have a big bookstore called Chapters, which is owned by Indigo, and then there's another one called Kohl's, and it's pretty much the exact same idea as Barnes and Noble, but they don't have like, I'm so jealous of the fact that you guys get the buy two get one free manga sale all the time.
Yeah.
Because when I do that, I have to use my Canadian dollar, and the conversion is not pretty.
It's always more, I think.
Well, I mean, to make you feel better, those buy two get one free from like Barnes and Noble actually aren't as good as if you just bought 3 volumes from like Right Stuff.
Yeah, Right Stuff manga is dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because Barnes and Noble, they'll charge you retail price for it, and then you just get one free. But if you go to a Right Stuff, each volume could be $6 if you get it on a Right sale.
Yeah,
sometimes 5. You know,
I've seen some for like $2 or $3.
$2 or $3. Yeah, so.
Yeah, or if you check out like the daily deals, like they have the bundles, and you can get like a set of 5 volumes for like $12, which is crazy.
Tempting me to go to Right Stuff right now.
We have a place. We have a place called Second and Charles, and sometimes, so it's a book and video game trading selling place. And they sell manga there too, and sometimes you can find some really, really good deals. Most of the time it's all retail, but like Alex picked up all of
Battle Royale
there.
Like 15 all 15 volumes of the soft covers for like $60.
That's hard to find too, because it's out of print, right?
Yeah, it's out of print. I know Viz Media has the license, but they haven't done anything with it yet. So
I wonder why, because I feel like it's pretty popular.
Yeah, I don't know if they just wait a certain amount of time just to make sure all the Tokyo Pop volumes are dead and then release it.
Didn't Tokyo, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Tokyo Pop make a comeback?
I don't know what they do. I mean, I've seen like some of the stuff on Right Stuff. They have like some Disney manga.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I don't know how. I really don't know what they do now. Really, I know they exist more in like other countries. I think in Europe they're actually still pretty big, but in North America they're definitely not like what they used to, when they had like GTO, Battle Royale, like Alita, all that stuff. But
because when I'm so frustrated by the fact that you guys know I'm a big Rave Master fan, and, and Tokyo Pop is the company that licensed the manga for Rave Master. And as I was collecting it, they were probably already at volume like in the mid 20s, and it's a 35 volume series. So they ended up, I think the company was going under, and then to make sure that they got out the entirety of the series before they crashed, they put the last volume in omnibus format. So like you have all these single volumes, and then the final one is volume 33, 4, and 5. And that was super hard to find. I think I got it for Christmas one year, but I have this random gap. Like I have a full bookshelf and I have like 30 of the volumes, and I'm missing like a random gap here and there, like somewhere in the teens. And they're like impossible to find. Like if you look at them on Right Stuff, they have like 1 or 2 of them, but they're hiked up in price. And if you look for them on eBay, you're looking at like $80 to $100 per volume. And I'm like, I can't justify spending that kind of money on, like, I hold that series in high regard just for like sentimental value, but I can't justify spending that kind of money on like these single volumes. And as soon as I saw, like, I started shopping around at the bookstore, and I noticed Tokyo Pop had new titles out. Like you said, they had a bunch of Disney manga and stuff. I'm like, man, I wish they would go back to the roots and buy the rights to like some of the older manga series that they had and re-release them and stuff like that. But I don't know if they have enough funding to be able to buy the rights to they definitely can't buy anything like A-list, for lack of a better word. But
yeah, no. Well, I mean, I know Rave Master is licensed by Kodansha now.
They publish it online, but I don't know if they'll do a physical release.
I mean, I hope so, because I really actually wanted to get into Rave Master. I remember watching a little bit of the anime back when I was like kind of into Fairy Tail.
Yeah, well, we tried to watch. Well, we watched the first season of Fairy Tail, but we couldn't get through much more of that. And then that's when I just started talking to Tyler. Yeah. That's why I just started talking to you, though, because then you recommended to me Rave Master, which I must apologize, I still haven't.
Probably not the anime, though.
Yeah,
probably the manga.
No, it was the manga.
Yeah, the manga.
It was when I first started trying to get back into manga too.
The anime is terrible. It was done by Studio Pierrot in like the late 90s, coming into like the 2000s. And the thing about it, the pacing is so bad too that it ends like there's 51 episodes, I think, or 52 episodes, and it ends like it's a 35 volume series, and it. Like the final episode introduces the main antagonist, and it's at like the point that it ends is like volume 12 in the manga, so it's not even halfway through. You get a feel for who the main antagonist is, and things start heating up a little bit, and you find out like what the conflict is between the protagonist and the antagonist, and then it's just like game over.
I don't get Studio Period anymore. I don't like they used to be a pretty quality studio in the night. I mean, they did Yu Yu Hakusho, Great Teacher Onizuka, Ninko, all that stuff, and then just like late 90s, early 2000s, they just kind of just went downhill.
They probably just didn't change with the times.
Well, yeah,
when
they're
the
doing
animation style started changing again, and that I would,
Well, I mean, they're doing the Black Clover adaptation, and like the new shonen like adaptation format is season 1, wait a year, season 2, or wait a couple months or whatever. They're the ones that are still doing like the long running stuff though, and Toei.
Yeah,
it's just I feel like it's not the best way to do it now.
Yeah,
I feel like to get the best quality is definitely doing the season approach.
Yeah,
I'd say.
For sure. And I feel like they always have their hands in so much stuff, but they never do like necessarily like a spectacular job with it. And like they really started going downhill because they were doing Bleach too, right?
Yes.
And then that ended before the manga ended, and both of them went downhill. Like the manga crashed and burned too. But like they had their hands in Bleach and Naruto at the same time, which were both on running for like years and years. And I feel like even before the point that Naruto Shippuden came out, like before the time skip, like Pure started like dipping in quality quite a bit.
Well, I mean, half of what, like 70, I think like 70 or 90 episodes of Naruto is like filler. Like I think before it went into Shippuden, they just put like a bunch of filler episodes before starting it. And then,
in Naruto,
and first, like before the time skip.
Okay.
I mean, Shippuden still has a bunch of filler too. I think it's like 230 episodes that are filler, which is half of the show. It's 500 episodes.
Because like the whole last season of Naruto is filler.
Yeah, it's so awkward because you have this big climactic fight between Naruto and Sasuke, which was done like so well. Like that's some of the best animation that came out of like that time period, like for like a handful of episodes, I would say. And it was really well done. And then there's just like a weird quick time skip, and then it's just one-off episodes that they were airing for like a year.
I mean, I think that there's that one episode of when they're trying to find out what Kakashi's face looks like. I'm pretty sure. Did that happen after the fight?
No, that was before the fight.
Okay. That was one of the best filler episodes I've ever saw, though.
With the big lips.
Yeah.
The only filler episode worth watching.
I mean, do you like actually just going into filler? I mean, do you think filler is just completely useless? Because I mean, there's a few anime that I know that use like filler or like anime only storylines, and I think they like Blood Blockade Battlefront, that whole stuff with black and white. I mean, that's not in the manga, but I thought they actually did pretty well putting that in. I mean, there's the Dragon Ball Z filler with Goku and Piccolo going to go
their driver's license.
Yeah, that's probably the greatest filler episode actually ever.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's definitely hit or miss.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree.
Like a Kame got killed, I know is a miss.
Like you can definitely tell when they're using it as like a, how would you say it? Like just to buy time for the manga
like
to come out
milking
with
it.
more material. Yeah, exactly. Like Naruto shit the bed with it. Bleach had complete arcs which were subpar compared to the main storyline, and then I think that's what made the anime dip in quality because they were investing so much into the filler, which was like anime only, and I don't think it had necessarily the best narrative. Like I don't even know if the mangaka had any say in what was being done with that. But and then like for example, like even one-off filler episodes, like there's some that are like at the end of an arc, usually I would take filler any day of the week before like a recap episode. Like I know Black Clover has a recap episode at the end of every single arc, and I hate those like with a passion. But then there's some filler episodes like Dragon Ball you mentioned, like they're really enjoyable. Like if they're, I don't know, like if they're like a pretty solid one-off story and you don't have to take it too seriously, like I think you can find some enjoyment from it. If they're using it to buy time, I think like after a while it gets pretty stale and it's not nearly as well written as the original plot line that would come from the manga. And then like there's some that they just completely, I don't know what happened with the first episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like that first episode was thriller. That would technically be filler, I guess.
But the worst first episode.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to, like, it was an introductory episode, and I kind of get it. Like, they introduced the two main characters before they jumped into the backstory, and like, I have to read up more on that. Like, I don't know what the thought was behind that, or like who even did the writing for that episode or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. Filler's definitely hit or miss.
Yeah. Well, with Fullmetal Alchemist, I mean, basically Brotherhood is playing off the assumption that you would have watched the original adaptation because it really skims. I mean, I think the first 5 episodes are basically kind of recappy of like the first
12
15,
or
15 or 12. And I think Brotherhood really misses, especially on like early development of Edward in the original adaptation. Like it shows him first meeting that the guy that gets trapped in the armor, not Alphonse, but the criminal.
Oh, the
Barry.
the butcher.
Yeah,
Barry the
Barry the
butcher.
Butcher. It shows him like actually, confronting Barry the Butcher when he was still human, and like that was like his first encounter of like this, basically serial killer.
Yeah,
And I thought,
And I don't think that happened in the manga either, but it was.
Oh, it didn't happen in the manga?
I don't believe it did, but I think it was well done in the anime though.
Yeah, I liked it in the anime. I still have to read the manga, but
And
I'll wait
the
for
original anime had a lot of random, like even before they started branching off from the manga and had like separate narrative lines. Like I think like there were one-off stories. Like there was another set of brothers in the original, and the like the older brother looked kind of like an older Alphonse, and like I forget their names and everything, and I honestly forget what happened in the episode, but I remember like enjoying it. So like that would be, I don't know if that would be considered filler, because I do think that happened before the two plots kind of diverged, but I still think they like it was executed well. But like you can tell when they have entire arcs or when it drags on, or if it's a one-off episode, like there's some shit filler out there for sure.
I guess the creators of the show, or like they in the studio, they just try, some of them at least try their best to kind of at least make it feel like it belongs in the show, instead of, obviously just like Naruto will have like some one-off episode dealing with robots or something that makes no sense.
Yeah, for sure. And you could tell when I find whenever the original creator is directly involved, there's a big difference. Because like even like one reason I like it's not one reason I like it, but like you can definitely tell with even each individual One Piece movie, which is like a story in itself. The original mangaka is like a big part in it. Like I'm pretty sure he writes the stories for all of them. So like, and you could tell like every like shonen movies are like all these one-off stories, and they're not necessarily connected to the main plot line. And Naruto has a lot of bad movies, like Bleach has a few bad movies, but like all of the One Piece movies, I found like there's some that are better than others, and they're not all that great, but like you can tell they're definitely more cohesive, and whether or not they're technically filler, I still think they're written a lot better than like the one-off episodes would be that are written by like the anime staff.
Well, I think the cool thing about those Naruto movies is it kind of like does a little bit of world building almost. Like it shows you kind of outside the Hidden Leaf Village and stuff like that. Like where they go to I can't even remember these movies anymore. Like when they meet the actress, they have to protect that actress. And was that the one with the Land of the Snow?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, I think that was cool because it's like, oh wow, movies actually like exist in the Naruto world, because it's a really weird setting.
Yeah, it is a weird setting. Like it's not something that you would expect. Like there's no way in hell that the manga would ever kind of go in that direction, but it's cool that they kind of have like this random mission and they make the most out of the story, and it ends up being pretty good at some points. But yeah, I would say a lot of shonen movies are like technically filler, but I don't know, some are better than others. Like what would you say is the worst shonen movie that you've watched?
That FMA star
really?
Milos. I did not like it because they changed the art style. I like the art style and animation style was a little different, and I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't think it was that good of a storyline.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it was enough time to fully develop that story. It seemed kind of.
Well, I just feel like that shows in particular, because it's like a very linear storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could make some one-off story, but it's like, I guess when I have to like put it in the timeline for myself for it to make sense. It's like with like a lot of those Dragon Ball movies, some of them just don't really fit in the timeline. So that's kind of like what takes me out of it, I would say. Of like a Shonen Jump movie or a shonen movie in general.
Yeah, for sure. And like the FMA movie does technically, like they kind of give you this time range, like the movie happens between this point. But then if you're assuming that it happens in between there, it's kind of weird that like all this shit happens and it's super climactic, and like it's probably it's like equally as intense in the final battle as like the final battle of the actual TV series of the manga or whatever you're consuming. But like you have to assume like if you're like within that time space when it ends and you continue the anime or continue reading the manga, it's like it never happened, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I do still like enjoy those types of movies. I wish like Black Clover would get a movie that kind of just does some sort of side story. So I'm really interested in that world, and I really like what Black Clover kind of does. That's what I liked about some of the Dragon Ball movies, because before I just didn't care where it fit on the timeline. I just watch it just to enjoy it. And I think it's just fun seeing these new villains, and just make Pycon canon already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think about the current state of Dragon Ball? How they're making the movies kind of like a linear approach to the story?
I think that's how they should have done it.
Yeah.
I did not like the super anime
No.
I mean, there was moments where I was like, oh, it's pretty good, but then there was a lot of moments where I was like, I did not enjoy it. But I think I did enjoy like the movies, like Battle of God. I didn't like Resurrection F, but I did like the Broly movie, obviously, because that was pretty. That was just. It was a fun time. It was a fun movie.
Yeah,
for sure. Anyway, that was an awkward topic to leave off on, but
we always got to bring it back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Well, I'm on my Dragon Ball journey right now, so. Continuing with that.
Yeah, he just started reading Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, you're reading it? That's good.
Yeah, a lot faster than watching it all. So.
Oh, yeah.
Did you end up buying the box set?
I bought from Alex actually for $40 all 16 volumes of Dragon Ball, and then I'll probably get the Dragon Ball Z box set after that.
Yeah. Nice.
So, but it's like a super quick read. But I've been reading a lot in between that, so it's taking a little bit longer, but.
I gotta get back on my manga game. I haven't been reading a lot of manga. I've been going back and binging a lot of anime, like I've been saying. Like now I'm on Land of the Lustrous. I just finished my rewatch of Made in Abyss because I'm getting hyped up for the movie to come out. And as soon as Vinland Saga ended, I said like, yeah, I have to go back and read all of it. And now I'm pretty much caught up to Vinland Saga. But
I just started where it left off, because Vinland Saga by far was my favorite show this year.
Oh, for sure. Like hands down. Like I think there's better produced shows. Like to be honest, I was kind of let down by Wit because I think there was more effort and care put into like Attack on Titan, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like I think that looked visually more like distinct and appealing, and it looked like higher quality in general, but like narratively I don't think anything beats Vinland Saga that came out in 2019.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
But Mob Psycho is
that's
pretty high up there too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Especially that the episode where he's fighting that dude who possesses the girl. I can't remember his name.
Oh, he was
is it Mogami or something?
Yeah.
Because it has like this super like Exorcist Halloween vibe. And I was like, this is awesome.
It was a very dark episode.
Yeah. And I transcended a different mindset at that point, so I was just blown away the whole time. I was losing it. It's like, this is crazy.
What did you guys think about the end of season 2? Like I know a lot of people think it dipped in quality. Like I don't think it dipped in quality visually, but like I was kind of let down personally by the main antagonist. Like I think he was kind of lackluster. Like the guy you were talking about, I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been a better main villain to the series.
That's what I was actually about to say is he would be a way better overall antagonist.
I guess the last antagonist was supposed to be kind of, he's like the foil to Mob, right? Because he like similar, they have the power, but he kind of accepted it, and he didn't want to live a normal life because he knew he was special.
Yeah,
Mob is just like, I don't want to be this special person. I just want to live a normal high school life. I want to be like my brother, just having fun, getting girlfriends, all this stuff.
And Mogami, he was already dead.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, he was a good villain, but I think
I see what you're coming from with the parallels between Mob and the other
last guy.
Yeah, that are more similar than him and Mogami.
I mean, I will say I kind of just checked out and was just like completely mesmerized by the animation at that point, so I didn't really focus on the story. I was just
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if it followed? Like, have you guys read the manga at all, or the webcomic or whatever?
No, I haven't read the manga, but from what I understand, I'm pretty sure it is like 100% the just what the manga has, because the manga ended and then the anime ended after. So I would just assume that it's
like a pretty clean adaptation.
Yeah. Hopefully,
because I'd be interested, because I'm like a lot of people tend to tune into that show for the animation, and I think it gets a lot of talk online just purely for how it looked visually. But like one of the main draws for me were the characters. Like I thought I had a great cast of characters, so I'd be interested in if there's any differences in the manga. I'd definitely be interested in going back and reading it. But I just wasn't sure if it ended differently or if it was a pretty clean adaptation of what was in the source material or whatever. But
I'm pretty sure it was a clean adaptation. Pretty sure, but don't quote me on that.
Definitely gonna quote you on that.
Professor Otaku said it.
Yeah. All right, we'll end it here. Well, Tyler, aka Otaku Sphere, aka Sphere, don't block me. It's been a pleasure having you on. If you want to throw in again your tags,
plug all your stuff.
Yeah, man.
Say my name.
Otaku Sphere.
No, what's my actual name?
Ty.
There we are.
Tyler.
There we are. Thank you guys for having me on. It's honestly kind of surreal. Like I know I've been talking to you guys online for a little while, and I've had a couple long podcast episodes talking to Alex, so I think I know you quite a bit by now. But Honestly, it's kind of like, it's weird like tuning in every week and listening to you guys talk, and then it's cool to be a part of it. And I'm glad that you guys are having all the success that you have with the podcast, and I want to help promote it as much as I can. So if there's anything else I can do to help you guys, get at me. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Next time we'll have less tangents, and we'll have maybe I'm happy I was able to answer all your questions, but maybe we can get a solid topic going, and it won't resort back to Dragon Ball, because I tend to bring every conversation to Dragon Ball, and we'll have a good drunk conversation next time. And yeah, to everybody listening, my name is Ty, but you can find me online at Otaku Sphere on Instagram. And yeah, so I guess like we talked a bit about my podcast, but for the time being, this is definitely the best podcast to listen to. Probably will be even after I come back. Like, I enjoy listening to you guys a hell of a lot. So thanks for all the great content every week, and for saving my life every week when I want to bury myself alive while doing homework.
No,
thank
means
you,
a lot.
man. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Actually.
I mean, this wouldn't happen without you guys. It wouldn't happen without you. I mean, you really hooked us up with doing the artwork and everything.
Like, really,
we had a black background with green lettering. Two guys in a warehouse. So you came in and
saved us a lot,
you stepped up our game, and
giving
us
like,
season 2. Yeah.
I don't think as soon as I found out you guys were doing the podcast, I was like, oh, I got to do something for these guys, because like I want to help you guys as much as possible. But I don't think I ever saw your original artwork, so you guys should send that to me just so I can have a laugh.
I think we still have it saved. Yeah, it's not
really
artwork.
It's just a Word document blacked out with green letters, 2 guys in a warehouse.
We'll send it over though, just so you can get a little laugh out of it.
Yeah.
But thanks for like all your promotion and everything.
Yeah,
like,
really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Anything I can do to help.
Well, all right. We will see you guys in the next one. This has been 3 Guys in a Warehouse.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
We'll be back on the special hentai edition. Drunk hentai edition.
Okay, thanks, guys.
And this is Alex from 2 Guys in a Warehouse. In post-edit, just wanted to say, cut it, or fuck. All right, this is take 2. Sorry we didn't do our regular ending, but we do have a very special message from Tyler, also known as Otaku Sphere, or now in present day, tylor.anime, because he just switched it up on us. But yeah, cut it. God damn it. All right, this is take 3. It's actually ty.anime. Bye.